Hi, welcome back to the Flip Flop Spanish podcast. I'm here with my mom and the owner and creator of Flip Flop Spanish, See It and Say It. It's a program used by hundreds, probably thousands of kids and families around Texas and the United States, and I'm sure other parts of the world as well. So how are you doing?
Doing good.
That's good. So I know there's some different stuff about the box. Is there anything different about the contents inside?
Yeah, this is our third edition, and so we made it full color all the way through. Basically, we just listen to the families. Whenever families give us feedback, we don't ever stop, making it as good as we can. So if we could make it better, we did. So full color. The lessons themselves haven't changed, so you're still getting the same content that you've gotten the whole time. A couple of the words changed over the 15 years since See It and Say It came out. Just a couple of words that are more commonly used in some of the nations. So we changed, I think, 2 flashcards as far as the wording. But other than that, the photos are just more up to date, crisper, and we had more options now, right? 15 years ago, there wasn't that much for, what are those things called?
Flashcards?
Not the flashcards, but the stock photos.
Oh.
The stock photos, you just didn't have very many options back then.
Right.
And now we have so many more options, so we've improved those as well. So the photos are different, method is the same.
Okay, got it. So how old do you think kids should start this? I mean, I know we talked about that a couple of times before, but is this any more advanced than before? Is it more simple? Is it everything the same?
I think the main thing that's changed is since more people are using it, we've gotten more feedback. I think you were with me in one of the booths when the lady said her 2-year-old was sitting in a high chair, and she was shocked that her 2-year-old actually learned a lot of Spanish. She was just in the high chair off to the side, but she was actually learning as well. So the age range has always been 3 and up, and now we've heard that even 2-year-olds, 2.5-year-olds are able to participate. So that's big. But no, it's not any more advanced or slower or anything. We still have whole families doing it. A lot of high school seniors are using it for conversational Spanish now. Before, we really recommended that they did a rigorous textbook course, but a lot of parents are saying, no, I really want them to just, quote unquote, learn how to speak and not worry about the grammar or the reading comprehension. So they've been doing See It and Say It as their conversational Spanish text for high school even.
All right, so there's a comic book theme to the box. I'm sure people have questions about that. Is there comic books that you can make in Spanish? What's going on with that?
So that started with level 2. Level 2, there are comic strips in it, as well as the idea of making your own comic strips and telling a story. Because in level 2, we go into the past tense, and kids are actually able to talk about the past. Level 1 is just present tense. So we don't have you don't have the ability to really talk about anything that happened. So, but level 2's theme, with that comic book kind of theme, we just went ahead and decided to carry it over to level 1. So this is really prepping you, saying, hey, as you continue on after level 1, you're going to have those comic book themes. Right now, it's just a super fun way to get started. It gets kids excited. They open it up. It doesn't look like the typical textbook, and so they're like, oh, I really want to learn Spanish. This looks fun. And that right by itself is an obstacle sometimes families have to overcome. You sometimes have, an Aztec pyramid. I'm not trying to bash on any other Spanish curriculum. If you have an Aztec pyramid on your front of your book, sorry, but
I remember that. It was
no, don't talk about it.
What is that?
We're not going to talk about it.
Okay.
But that does kind of make you feel maybe it's old, maybe it's not modern, maybe it's not useful, and this is a lot more helping the child to be excited, which is the number one way to learn, is be motivated.
Right. I remember when we first got that prototype box and opening it up, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. It felt like a present instead of schoolwork.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it, even though you're the creator of the product, and I feel like most kids would be like, whatever, Mom, all right, thanks for your weird Spanish program. But I remember us all being pretty excited for it. I want to talk about a little bit more than just the product. What's going on with the homeschooling world today? Are there any big changes as far as laws and states getting more rights for homeschooling?
There's a lot of political stuff going on in the homeschool world. Every state has their own rules, right? So that's a state's right. And a lot of states are getting these ESAs, educational savings accounts.
Okay.
And Texas just voted to yes, basically vouchers. Say, hey, you have school choice, you can choose to save money or use the money that the state will give you and decide where your child wants to go to school. in Texas specifically, there's a cap to it. So the likelihood of homeschoolers even being able to access that is very low, because it's going to go to lower income families and places where maybe you don't want your child in that school district because of whatever it is. If you apply, you can then get access to that ESA and put your child somewhere else. Homeschoolers do not have to. Obviously, if you don't apply, you're not going to get the money. If you do apply and you get the money, then at that point you have to choose a certain amount of curriculum from a certain list.
Okay.
But that's just in Texas. Other states have had this, Arizona, Florida. Goodness, so many states already have had this for several years, and none of those states have actually added to the regulations. So it's just, if you apply, then you accept this money, then there's rules with that money. If you want the same freedom that you have now, don't apply.
All right.
So the good news is no more regulation has happened, even though state-funded money has become more accessible to homeschoolers.
That makes sense. Now, if a private school or a public school wants to use your product, is that possible?
Yes, I actually have a lot of charter schools, a lot of private schools. I don't know about any public schools yet, unless teachers are just buying it and using it on their own. They haven't told me. But a lot of charters and privates use it so that they can, get the same hands-on quality, and they teach their children as if they were in a family at a kind of a one-room schoolhouse type setting. So yeah, lots of places use it because we have the co-op handouts, because it's designed for family use at your kitchen table.
Right.
But if you want to expand that to multiple children over multiple ages in a bigger setting, I do have those lesson plans for you.
Do you think you'll ever make a program specifically for charter schools and public schools?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just going to focus on family learning.
Right. What I know best, and the issue is there's a glut of that, isn't there? There's thousands and thousands of curriculum out there for Spanish for public schools and private schools. There's not a great set for homeschooling. In fact, if there had been, this wouldn't exist, right? I would have just followed that.
Right. You made it out of necessity, like robots see a need, fill a need.
That's right. See a need and fill a need.
Capitalism. It works. Okay, so in the world of anxiety, depression, and it's a huge problem right now. You've written a book about the key to learning, and you know a lot about mental health. Where would you say if somebody's down on their luck, they just don't feel like getting out of bed, they don't feel like doing literally anything, and I've been in that spot several times, and it's incredibly hard to just listen to a podcast telling you to be better, Like, oh yeah, I should just feel better, Like, oh, I need to get more motivated and be disciplined. So how do you get those things? How do you become disciplined with having no momentum?
That's a whole, it's a bigger bag of worms than just learning language, isn't it?
Right.
And I think, honestly, you know more about that than I do, just because of your age and the culture you've grown up in. For us, growing up in the 80s, you just sucked it up, buttercup, you just handle it. And now I think anxiety is more prevalent for lots of reasons, but I also think it's more talked about. So maybe it isn't more prevalent. It's just that we did not talk about our feelings. No, you did not. You rub dirt in it and you go on.
Right.
So I've only been there a few times, and somebody needed me. So I didn't have the choice.
I definitely noticed that anytime I would set up a date or to go hang out with my friends, or I had to go to a job the next day, I was always up.
Right.
And whenever I didn't have a job, it made it incredibly hard to get out and do anything. Even though there's things that I really wanted to do, like make YouTube videos, go hang out, go shoot, whatever I wanted to do, it made it 10 times harder because I couldn't get out of that spot. So
maybe that's the answer. That's the cue here for parents watching. If you have a kid that's struggling, give them a requirement.
Right.
Don't baby them, because that actually hurts them. And so you say, I need you to do this. If you don't do this, it's not going to get done. Maybe, living on the farm helped us that way. You had to put up the chickens. We had to feed we had to do all this stuff.
Right. Well, yeah, on the farm, I never had a problem of depression.
Right.
Because I was literally too busy to let those negative thoughts infiltrate. And it's a big deal. So, these kids are being raised on iPads now from the age of 5 and up. And I think it's pretty detrimental to health. Video games for an hour at a time, we got to do, was tons of fun.
Right.
But if you're on an iPad for 12 hours a day and you go to sleep, and that's your parent, you're gonna. We have kids who are going around and doing these live streams, terrorizing people at like 11 years old. You know, they're like doing in real life streams to go terrorize people, steal food just to be a jerk, and then the parents are nowhere to be found.
Right.
So, you know, without any discipline, your child's just gonna be, a loser.
Monster.
Yeah,
Right, a monster.
He's gonna be
Absolutely.
a narcissistic loser. So, anyway, that's a bit of a tangent.
Well,
but-
so what we did, right, was, and it was difficult. It was difficult. First of all, we gave y'all phones way too early, and we had to pull them back. And that was always the first thing to go. Oh, let's they're having too much phone time, too much computer time, so we're constantly pulling it back. So we finally settled on Thursdays only. And so we never had any screen time whatsoever except for Thursdays. And y'all had to get your school done before we did that. And so I don't know if you remember, y'all got your schoolwork done by 11 a.m. Easy, sometimes 10:30 a.m. And then y'all had free reign. There were 5 of you, so you had to manage that. So I didn't feel bad about that. Y'all still went outside some, but not as much on Thursdays.
Right.
And your chores had to be done. So we kept it to Thursdays only. Weekends were no screens whatsoever unless you were hanging out with Daddy. And so we were very disciplined in that arena because I did see the detriment. And we had the studies already, even from when I was a toddler. They told my mom, don't let them watch more than 30 minutes of TV a day. 30 minutes a day of TV. And so since then, we found out that having screens like this is much more detrimental to your development than further away. So if you have a kid that is on an iPad or a computer screen, have them sit back a little bit.
Right, not to mention neck problems.
Yes,
I mean, I remember,
posture.
right when I was 13, I was getting crazy neck problems. And it's because I was always doing this.
Right.
In addition to the fact I had scoliosis,
Right.
and that was just starting. But, I mean, that's I think that was more detrimental to my neck than football or boxing.
Right, yeah, you were more susceptible because of the bone structure and your muscle stuff with the scoliosis. But if it's going to hurt you, it's going to hurt anybody.
Right.
In general, keep your children off of screens as much as possible before puberty.
Right.
That's just from anxiety, relational stuff. In fact, I have a blog on it that's coming out today, all about how bad screens are, which is why I had such a hard time making the high school video course, because it was a video and I did not want kids on screens. It's really, really bad for you.
Right. Speaking of the video course, where can you find that?
So SpanishGeniuses.com has all the different levels, level 1, level 2, level 3 of Spanish, and then I do have some middle school stuff as well, but the lessons are shorter, and again, if you want to access it, be there with your child. Don't just give them free reign. The cool thing is, if you get on the website, there's no ads that are going to pop up. It's not going to say, watch this next. There's nothing that's going to trail across the bottom. So your attention span, which is such a problem with the screens, at least on the website for Spanish Geniuses, nothing's going to pop out and get you by surprise and have you click away.
Right.
We actually have an app too, so if you have an iPad, you can go to Spanish Geniuses or the iPhone or whatever, and it's just going to stay on that app. So if you have a kid that has trouble staying on the educational app or staying on the YouTube channel that they're supposed to stay on for education, this is a way that you can manage that.
Okay, great. And generally, how long are the lessons?
For high school, the 20 to 22 minutes is the sweet spot, and then that's it for Spanish for that day. I don't want you doing anything else. And then after that, your book work, I actually have, you have your textbook and your hands-on actually writing and reading from a book, not from a screen, the other 4 days. And those are 20 to 30 minutes is what I expect a high schooler to put in.
Well, check out flipfloplearning.com.
FlipFlopSpanish.com for
I do
this
it
one.
that every time.
I know, because it used to be Flip Flop Learning, because things have evolved. I mean, you were 8 when we first got that website.
FlipFlopSpanish.com. Check out the website. Check out all of our videos. We have tons more videos and content on YouTube, so be sure to check out the rest of the videos there. I guess that's it. We'll see you next time.